Welcome to the Ellen at Blackfilm videocast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm joined by my co-host, Hakeem Graham.
How you guys doing? How you folks doing? Hope you are doing well in this quarantine 2020.
Yes. And for the newcomers, Ellen at Blackfilm videocast highlights all things Blackfilm news, exclusives, and reviews. And it's just an awesome way to celebrate the accomplishments of Black cinema. There's so many actors and out there just doing their thing, and blackfilm.com does a great job in highlighting those things. So definitely check out the website to find out more about blackfilm.com. So speaking of distractions, like you mentioned, there's been a lot of new things that have been coming out.
Yes, they have.
Right. And so we've enjoyed the distractions, whether it's in TV or it's in film. And we are going to review Selah and the Spades.
Wow.
Right.
Deep.
Right. Which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. And it was written and directed by Tyrese Poe, who's from West Philly.
West Philly in the house. That's where I get my sandwiches from.
Right. Philly is definitely in the house. So this film originally premiered in 2019 at the Sundance Film Festival. And it stars Lovey Simone as the lead, Stellar Summers. Lovey Simone stars in Greenleaf. She plays Zoe, is her name?
Zoe.
Zora. Yeah. No, Zora. She plays Zora.
Greenleaf. Sorry, I think
the teenage daughter of Jacob Greenleaf. And can I just tell you that I was impressed by her in Greenleaf. So when I saw the trailer before I watched the actual movie to Selah and the Spades, that caught my attention, right? Because I'm like, okay, she has a starring role. What's that going to look like? And yeah, and so who else is starring in it? Our boy Jerome. From When They See Us. He won the big Emmy for his role as Corey Wise.
Yep.
Right, and then newcomer Celeste O'Connor is also starring in it. So it's about a ritzy boarding school in Pennsylvania with an underground network of a student-run organized crime faction.
That's a crime ring. He's got some dealing.
Talk about a well-oiled mob network in high school at a boarding school.
Well, yes, you got to remember it's a boarding school.
It's a boarding school, right? And so Selah Summers, played by Lovey Simone, she is the HBIC in the most dominant group of this faction. And her group is called Spades. So she's running things, right, in the boarding school, but also is the most dominant group.
She is killing it.
She's killing it. And her faction is responsible for distributing booze and illegal drugs to the school. And so each faction kind of holds their own weight in supplying, substances and things of that nature in boarding school. So you watched it. I watched it, I think, 2 weeks ago. Again, just because I was curious about how Lovey Simone was going to do. I know you recently watched it. What do you think?
All right, so I have to start from the beginning because this is just way, way too much. So I thought that Lovey Simone did a phenomenal job, and I think the writers need to get credit, the producer needs to get credit for this, because the writing was such that it sort of mirrored like a early mafia movie. She controlled, not only did she control the board, but she controlled everything that happened with all the groups. I mean, she pretty much ran what they were supposed to do and how they were supposed to do it and called it out. Just like any other leader or person that people go to for answers, she's corruptible. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And she gets herself into a little bit of trouble. I don't want to give anything away before the people see this movie, because I think you should see it. But I think with the drugs, not only the drugs, the alcohol, the parties, I mean, she pretty much ran that school. And it reminded me of a flashback to Power, where Tariq goes to choke. And he starts running his little drug ring. And I think that, in comparison, this was like, it was like an organized crime family.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it reminded me of home. I was like, yo, we're in New
Right.
York.
When you think about the mindset, the intelligence, and the keen eye to detail and attention that a 17-year-old would need to have to run an organized crime network, right?
Well, you know, it bears to mind about Frank Lucas. You know, one of the things he said, and I'm not advocating drugs, just or selling drugs. I'm just quoting.
Yeah.
He said that he is no different from the president and CEO of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, General Electric. He has a product and he sells it, and there's an audience that has it. I think these types of minds are rare. I mean, you don't just get up in the morning and become a CEO. That you work your way up to it. This little girl at 17 years old is a CEO. That is phenomenal. So imagine beyond. So she's about to graduate. Imagine what she does beyond it. I'll bet she needs a little bit of psychiatric help. But she has the mind of a whip. I mean, she is really good, but she's also good at manipulating people, and that's going to be the interesting part.
I mean, you would have to be to that would have to be one of the things you're really good at to be the head of a crime network. But like you said, she is graduating. It's spring semester. And so she needs to hand over control to somebody that she deems worthy. And so enter stage right, a new transfer, Paloma, who's a quick study. And so whatever happens, we're not going to give that away. So you know, I liked a lot of things about it. I liked that it was a new spin on high school cliques, right? Because yeah, they're not baking cookies and organizing car washes. No, we are organizing gambling rings. Like it's
drug
heavy.
distribution,
Right.
Alcohol, parties,
Right.
covering up other crimes.
Yeah. And also like enforcing violence if somebody goes against the grain. Like, wait, what? You all are 17.
Exactly. You got enforcers?
Right. And so what I thought I liked that take because again, that's not normal high school behavior. So that was cool to watch. It was cool to watch kind of because it's a little dark. There's darkness in it, right?
Well, and it's shot dark too.
Yeah.
It's shot dark.
Yeah, and I love that, you know, the darkness is set against like this plush campus with vibrant green grass and this gorgeous, you know, layout. But meanwhile, there's this whole seedy underground thing going on that no one knows about.
And they're walking around like, oh, nothing's happening. And what we forget is at the backdrop of this is our big homie Jesse Williams. He's in there.
Right. He's the school headmaster.
School headmaster. And Jesse Williams plays the hell out of this. I mean, it's cool. It's actually just cool for him to play it. And the way he plays it is sort of like Lean on Me, but without all the anger.
Well, I might have to disagree there. I think he was none the wiser. I mean, he had an idea, but he had no clue what was going on. Like
he didn't know how to the degree, because I can say one scene that he did realize what was going on, but he couldn't prove it.
When the kid?
No, when he found the bottle.
Oh, okay, got it. And also when the whole stairwell situation, which I thought was beautiful. That
was beautiful. Yes, I'm not going to say what that happened there, but
gorgeous, right? Like,
yeah,
about, it was weird. I thought they were going to do something really left, and it ended up being quite pretty.
Exactly.
That was a little random for me. Like, I don't know what statement they were making. Yeah. I didn't get what statement they were making other than we're doing it because we want to. And that alone is a statement in itself.
Because we can.
Because we can. Because we can.
Because we can.
And so that actually reminds me of a point I wanted to discuss. The fact, the whole point of going to boarding school is or the whole point your parents send you to boarding school is to be under control. So all these kids kind of found their own control, their own way to lead their own lives by doing, conducting activity.
so by doing whatever the hell they wanted to do.
And no questions asked.
Well, that's kind of like the base that they laid down. No questions asked. It's my authority.
Right.
You would, and I think that is, and it's empowering for women. And let's let it be known that there was, she led that whole group. Also, let's be honest about the fact that it was very diverse. The group was very diverse, and everybody seemed to get along without, in a sort of ethnic harmony. I don't want to say racial because there's only one race. It's ethnic harmony. They had Latin. It was fantastic. Kids of 2 different backgrounds or 3 different backgrounds. It was just fantastic. But it also showed that what happens is when we get a multicultural group together, the things that can move very quickly and very, very efficiently.
Yeah.
And if you watch this movie, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. I know it's sort of we're overshadowing the movie, but there's a reason. You have to see the movie so you can understand the intricacies of how the characters work themselves out in their situations.
I love that Lovey Simone did such a great job balancing sweet and vicious, because there were these really poignant scenes where you saw her kind of be this, gentle, quiet, unassuming 17-year-old, right? Where she was scared, she wasn't too sure of herself, and she felt insecure. Then you saw the complete opposite of that, that's shrouded under her viciousness. And the way she played that, the way she told that line, I thought was really, really good. And that speaks to her acting chops, I think.
Yes, it does. In fact, I often say that actors are bipolar or multipolar, because you have to have a lot of characters to bring out the roles that you decide to take. And a lot of actors will take the same type of roles or same complicated roles, but then you'll get people like De Niro, you get people like Jeffrey Wright, you get people like Vance, who is it? That's Courtney Vance. They take these roles. Whoopi does the same thing. I mean, I can go on. Lawrence Fishburne. They take these roles that you can't even imagine, and they turn it into something that you didn't envision when you hear the title of the movie. So she's in that category for me. I think she's a young actress. I know I'm jumping the gun, but that was fantastic to show the facets of that character. I mean, she showed it really well, which is a little scary, but she showed it really well.
So could you imagine where she's going to be 10, 15 years from now in terms of her acting career? Oof.
I'm saying Angela Bassett. That's what I'm saying. And she's a cute girl.
I'm going to need to see a little bit more before I put her over there.
No, I'm saying that's where she needs to go. That's the trajectory.
Okay, that's the trajectory. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a pretty young lady too. So it's not like just about that. I mean, she's definitely, she got a chop. She's sharpening her teeth, and I think we need to stand and witness that.
Yes, absolutely. And Blackfilm interviewed the writer and director, Terry Chappelle, and in the interview, she mentioned that there's a series that's being developed, which made me really happy, because although, this film to me was very linear, it was very specific in the sense that it was just about her at this boarding school doing what she was doing. But meanwhile, she's a baby sociopath. I want to know, how did you get there? What's your relationship with your mother? Gina Torres plays her mother. And that was a weird dynamic for all of the 5 minutes it showed. That was very weird. I also want to know Celeste O'Connor, her role, Paloma. Why was it so easy for her to kind of jump into this illegal organized crime network and want to be down with it and want to control it? Like, what's her story? What's her background?
Of course, Paloma jumped in after knowing what happened to the last person that was supposed to succeed.
Exactly.
Which was interesting. I was like, but she jumped in with no fear, none whatsoever.
Right. And
so I was like,
well, that's interesting.
And she was like low key coming into it. Like, she was like the photographer, and all of a sudden she's got this grandiose plan, and I'm like, girl, where you coming from?
Lovey Selah Summers, she saw that. She saw that that Paloma was a quick study, and obviously got threatened by it. But yeah, there's so much to unpack about each character. Even, you know, Maxie,
Maxie,
Jerome's character. You know, what's his dynamic? What's his friendship with Selah all about? How did that start? And because it's senior year, I want to know, like, how did we start with this in a freshman year? Like, let's go back there. Let's tell the story leading up to senior year.
Interesting enough, I think that's probably why the series was broached and how it was sold, because everybody wanted to know the backstory and how these characters get to here. Right. And interesting enough, what happens after? Because after they graduate, what does Selah do going forward? Does she becomes that CEO? Does she become an Oprah Winfrey? Does she become? I mean, what happens?
Oh, for Selah, once she graduates, where?
Okay, gotcha. What does she become? Selah's she's a beast, but at the same time, like you said, she does have some psychological issues.
Hey, now listen, I think it all has to do with her mother. All issues come from our parents, I tell you. So that's a Freudian standpoint. What'd you say?
That's a Freudian standpoint.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I would give Selah and the Spades a good 7.5.
I agree. I was going to say 8, but yeah, 7.5.
Yeah,
I'd say that. It's a new movie. It's a young cast. I'll bet they did a great job. There were some things that I was like thrown back by, not fairly strongly, but it was just like, oh, interesting. I wonder how that would have been done with some more seasoned actors. But for the most part, they did an excellent job. I didn't look away from the TV once. I didn't fall asleep. This was a great movie. It kept me on edge. It literally kept me on edge, literally, because of some of the story lines. And I think that's important to understand, that these young characters, young actors can do that for you, especially with the storyline.
Yeah, and I mean, a big shout out to Tyree Chappelle, the writer and director. I mean, it's based on her childhood experiences. She went to boarding school. You know, she had to find things to keep her, you know, busy. So it comes from a true space. And I saw that in the movie. The heart of it kind of comes from the director's childhood experiences, which I thought was cool. So I'm loving that now she gets to turn this into a series and we get to see more of her work. Now, I'm excited to see.
With that being said, the writer director. Now I'm thinking to myself, girl, where did you go to school? What was your role in this?
Well, she was not. Yeah, she was the complete opposite of Selah and the Spades. She was more into drama and theater, so that she was a Bobby. She was a Bobby minus the drugs and all that. Because you know, Bobby was huge into theater.
Yeah, but don't sleep on them theater people. You know what happened at any point.
Right. Yeah, you never know what went on behind those curtains.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, don't sleep on them, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all I have to say about Selah and the Spades. Any last words?
I thought the last thing I wanted to say is I thought that it was interesting how she named it Selah and the Spades. Spades, which has a double meaning in our community, which was I didn't even know how to digest it, but I was just like, I'm just going to accept it for what it is, because I think there's a lot of people that are going to watch this movie that don't know the history of spade. You know, call a spade. But in reality, that was a derogatory term, and for Black folks, and I don't think anybody ever knew that. That being said, when I looked past it, I was like, teachable moment or let it go. And I decided, let it go. But I wanted to mention that because I thought it was just an interesting title. Spades. Of all the names she could have used, why Spades? If I was interviewing her, I would have asked that question.
You would have asked that question?
I would have asked that question because I think that would have been an interesting story.
Because it's a unique title.
Very unique. And it's pulled from where? Where does it come from? What was the dynamics of coming up with that name? I get Selah because that's one of the characters, but the Spades, I mean, you could have went anywhere with that. But why Spades?
Okay, so
Because,
You just made me think of something, right? So Selah Summers, Selah and the Spades. I love the use of alliteration there. The SSS. I'm a big fan of alliteration. A lot of people aren't, but ugh,
Oh, I got into it.
as a writer, right? That's my jam.
I was getting into it, and I was like, stop analyzing. Just watch the movie.
Just watch the damn movie. But I mean, that's part of the experience. I love that you do that because you also, by analyzing, you bring, new ideas and new thoughts into our heads. So.
Yeah, well, I try. I mean, the thing about it is that we're gonna take a view of these filmmakers and these films and bring it to folks to digest it from another point of view. We get a lot of that from the mainstream reviewers, but this is specifically catered to our culture and our movie. So, I mean, I think that's cool. Not that I'm just excluding anybody. I'm saying everybody can watch, but I'm saying that, we don't get to hear how we like to hear it. Does that make sense?
Well said. Absolutely. So with our viewers, any comments, any questions, feedback? Are you interested in watching any of the things we mentioned or no?
Or no?
Or no?
I think there were questions in the beginning. I think a lot of them responded to Whitney Houston's biopic. There was a lot of people who resonated with Queen Latifah, obviously, because between the both of us, we probably know half of all of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, and also our friends from the West Coast and down south in Florida, family in Florida, and Puerto Rico. But the thing is, we just need to be consistent and give people avenues, especially with the COVID 2020 going on. I think we're trying to bring you guys more entertainment, broaden your horizons, and Ellen's doing a great job of that. I thank her for inviting me to be a co-host because this is a great platform. I think. Yeah, I know, right? Quibbly is like weird. You were curious too. Simply NJ.
Yep. Simply enjoy.
Because I didn't know either, and I think that's important for other people.
Yeah. I mean, right, because they've been promoting the heck out of it, but not really telling us what it is. I guess they're
exactly.
Leaving it to us to go figure it out.
Right, exactly. My cousin said he just came from on the back end of it. Don't worry about it. You didn't miss much. You just missed a whole lot.
Right, that's what I was about to say. You missed a whole lot.
No, but
never, though.
Yeah, better late than never, and I appreciate you coming. Ellen, in closing, like I said, I appreciate just being here and being able to speak on the culture we have.
This is giving me a list. GFAB all day saying this is giving me a list of things to watch on my own. It won't happen. Right. And so that's what's so cool about, this platform and Blackfilm as a whole, because before, we started doing this video cast, I wasn't in the know as much as I needed to be in the know. And once I got wind of Blackfilm, I lost my mind. I, was reading about different things, finding out about, my favorite actor and this project that's in the making. So there's so much good content on the website. And so we do our small part in, being able to bring it to you and having a meeting of the minds over Black cinema. Because it does need to be celebrated more. And it's not so much about the color, it's about the culture of Black cinema. And I think that's my favorite thing about Blackfilm.
Right, exactly. And also to add on to that, again, it's not about exclusion. A lot of these films are multi-ethnic films. They're just written, directed, and probably starring Black actors. But at the same time, it's showing how working together is bringing a very good conduit to what society is supposed to look like going forward. And I think that's cool. I think, my cousin says we need more Black cinema. Absolutely, we need more Black cinema because there's a lot of stories out there we don't get. We don't get the stories about the Black cowboys in the Midwest. We don't get the stories about Black Wall Street. We don't get stories about, not yet, I should say, not yet. We don't get the stories about the gangs that grew in New York before the West Coast gangs came to the East Coast. We don't get the We don't get, and here's an interesting story, Ellen. We don't get the story about the first hockey champions out of Nova Scotia who were all black.
Wait, before you continue, a message just popped up on my phone saying 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining. So whatever you're going to say, I don't know if it's going to cut off or what's going to happen.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Listen, so thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're going to be back here next Thursday, 7 p.m., every Thursday. And a quick plug, on Tuesdays, Hawk and I, we appear on my IG at Ellen the Great, and we talk about the movies that we're watching in and out of Black cinema. So definitely tune into that. Hawk's IG is at Poor Timing 22. So check him out.
Check me out.
Mine again is Ellen the Great, THA. So tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. and tune in on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on at Blackfilm Plus IG. We have 40 seconds, so we can sing a song or.
I just want to say thank you for all the people who came out to support. Thank you, Ilsa. Love you to death. Thank you, Cuz. Love you to death. Thank you, Achila. Thank you, all the folks that came out to watch us.